Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under commanding General Yana, presents the Lord's 57th annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under commanding General Yana. See you there, Israel. Shalom. It's that Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under commanding General Yana, presents the Lord's 57th annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under commanding General Yana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
I ain't finna tell you how I got away with this shit.
If I'm more, right, that's good business. She look good, but hang with dumb bitches. Tell her I'm way too fly for one sister. And if she leave a priest, I won't miss her. Won't put a ring around it. Oh, no, no, no. Bitches for the street like basketball goals. I always knew she'd let that lane hit her. Won't get a cent from me, I ain't simple. Bitch, now I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular, no, I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular, you a civilian, nah, I'll fail ya, I ain't gon' work it out, cause I ain't regular, I ain't regular, you's a regular, took that bitch back, and she done fed ya. Look how you living out, you look scary out, can't fuck that bitch right, cause she be getting nailed out. You won't forgive her, ain't it? You wanna love her, don't you? Just know that love ain't for you, it's for the world, homie. I got some real homies, we don't pretend, homie. ISUPK, 1 West, we kickin' field goals. Let that bitch lead, ho. She got them D's, though. With a little steak and ass pussy, she be going beast mode. She HIV, ho. You a dirty ass skeet, ho. Don't get that shit up out your chest, bitch. Say what you gonna do now, what you gonna say now, what you gonna do to me. It is UPK, I'm shot too deep, it's better Google me. I put these girls all in my training camp like I relieve. I say what I do and I do what I say, bitch, what the fuck you mean? If I'm more, right, that's good business. She look good, but hang with dumb bitches. Tell her I'm way too fly for one sister. And if she leave a priest, I won't miss her. Won't put a ring around it. Oh, no, no, no. Bitches for the street like basketball goals. I always knew she'd let that lane hit her. Won't get a cent from me, I ain't simple. Bitch, now I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular, no, I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular, you a civilian, nah, I'll fail ya, I ain't gon' work it out, cause I ain't regular, I get paper, bruh, got my standards up, you a munchkin, catching these, check my favorite out, I'm a player, these niggas top block, take your lead out, you shouldn't be worried about these broke ass bitches, and don't compare yourself to simp ass niggas, had to shine find a lot of these desperate ass women. Cause they be tripping hard, acting like they different. But a bit be basic, bit be horn and bit be naked, drinking. Faking, stankin', the shame is dirty, my bit be faking. I don't get too fucks about you, I wouldn't have put no baby in. Bit be saying they got that paper, look, that let me itch. Done caught the penalty, and my energy got me feeling me. Ice hitting on these diamond teeth that's into me. And I'm getting right, and I'm stacking up, and I'm getting to it. And these niggas hate, but they can't touch, cause I'm bulletproof. If I'm more right, that's good business. She look good, but hang with dumb bitches. Tell her I'm way too fly for one sister. And if she leave the priest, I won't miss her. I'ma put a ring around it. Oh, no. Bitches for the street like basketball goes. I always knew she'd let that lane hit her. Won't get a cent from me, I ain't simple. Bitch, nah, I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular out. No, I ain't gon' work it out. I ain't regular out. You civilian out. Nah, failure out. I ain't gon' work it out. Cause I ain't regular out.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatham to the brothers watching. Yahweh Shamal Thumb, Bashem, Yahweh Shah, sisters watching. Since the ISUPK started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We teach that Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians are the chosen people of God, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, and our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, you tuned in with priests, Officer of 1,000, Howard Moore, ISUPK, Kentucky, man. And tonight is our Monday night history class. But before we get started, I want to make sure to mention April 4th, Houston, Texas is going down. ISUPK is going to be in the building. All right. Annual Lord's Passover, hosted by Commander General Yohana and the ISUPK. All Black, Hispanic, and North American Indians are commanded to be there. Next, I want to invite every Black, Hispanic, and North American Indian to tune in to our weekly content. ISUPK Kentucky, Monday night history class, Tuesday night brotherhood class taught by Officer of 1,000, I'm a Wonga boy. And Wednesday night, you got the podcast, Cry Out, Spare Not podcast, hosted by Officers of 1,000, I'm a Wonga boy, and Asiapian. And Saturday morning Sabbath service. So Monday night history, Tuesday night brotherhood, Wednesday night the podcast, Saturday morning Sabbath service. Now tonight, I'm finna do part 2 of a class I did last year. I'm finna do part 2 of a class I did last year. If you didn't see Black Nazism part 1, if I may, ISUPK Kentucky on all platforms. Go ahead and check out Black Nazism part 1. And tonight we finna go a little bit deeper into the topic. All right, it's a lot of things going on in the media right now. A lot of things dealing with these Epstein files, and a lot of celebrities mentioned in these Epstein files. A lot of people that we look up to are mentioned in these Epstein files. So we finna cover tonight Black Nazism part 2. All right, Black Nazism part 2, ISUPK Kentucky, under Commander General Yohana. We finna go into how we were unknowingly indoctrinated into Nazism. We finna cover how we were unknowingly indoctrinated into Nazism. And then we finna cover a little bit about what's in these Epstein files. Who's mentioned? People like Chris Tucker, people like Jay-Z. All right, again, influential people that we look up to. And what's gonna come out is it might be something you ain't heard before. All right, it might be something you ain't heard before. But Black Nazism part 2, ISUPK Kentucky, under Commander General Yohana. Now, what is a Nazi? All right, a Nazi historically belonging to or connected to the National Socialist Party, which controlled Germany from 1933 to 1945. This is historically what a Nazi is. All right. Belong to or connected with the National Socialist Party, which controlled Germany from 1933 to 1945. Now, what's a black Nazi? Now, black Nazi is a phrase, I think I came up with, because I've never heard anybody else use this term. But a black Nazi is somebody who knowingly or unknowingly promotes Nazi propaganda. All right. A black Nazi is someone who knowingly or unknowingly supports Nazi propaganda and agendas. All right. Now, what are some of these Nazi agendas that we either knowingly or unknowingly promote? All right. Abortions. Abortions come out of the Nazi eugenics movement. All right. If you are pro-abortion, you are supporting Nazi agenda, whether you know it or not. All right. Atheism. If you promote atheism, all right, if you promote socialism / communism, all right, you are either knowingly or unknowingly promoting Nazi propaganda and Nazi agendas. All right, but we're going to talk about how most of us were unknowingly indoctrinated into Nazism. Now, when I say black Nazi, you could be talking about this. All right, you got the brother on the right that's got the SS uniform. All right, the SS were the police that ran the Nazi state. You got Queen the swastika on the left. All right, when I say black Nazi, I'm talking about this, but I'm also talking about this. All right, again, a lot of us have unknowingly been indoctrinated into Nazism. And when you support the eugenics movement, when you support Planned Parenthood, when you're pro-abortion for any reason, then you are supporting and promoting Nazi propaganda. Now, how did it happen? It came from the public school system. All right, it came from our education in the public school system. All right, it's not a commonly that the educational system used in most of the world today is based on the Prussian public school educational system, usually referred to as the Prussian model, introduced in the early 1800s for producing obedient soldiers. Shortly after several defeats by Napoleon, Prussia's political and military elite came to the conclusion that independent thinking and the individualistic spirit among Prussian fighters and soldiers was in fact the root cause and major contributing factor to their defeat. Consequently, the Prussian elite began a program aimed at reducing aliveness, intelligence, and independent thinking in the majority of citizenry. The goal was to make the bulk of the population compliant servants rather than free individuals who can think for themselves. All right, this was the goal. This was the goal in the Prussian state after several defeats by Napoleon. Now, if you're not familiar with what Prussia is, Prussia was the name that was used for that kingdom prior to the individual German states. All right, the public schools were created by states to reinforce obedience among the masses. All right, your public school education is going to come out of this German model. All right, reinforce obedience among the masses, maintain social order, rather than serve as a tool for upward social mobility. The key prediction of the research is that when there are periods of internal conflict, states will introduce education reform that is designed to indoctrinate people into accepting the status quo. All right. And the indoctrination that we've been given in the public school system is Nazism. And I'm going to prove it to you. All right. So here's some of the key features of the Prussian system: indoctrination, national curriculum, national testing, compulsory attendance, teacher authority, and focus on exams. Do any of these points sound familiar to you? All right, indoctrination. All right, national curriculum, national testing, compulsory attendance, teacher authority, and focus on exams. This is that Prussian, that AKA German model. All right, early 19th century American educators were fascinated by German educational trends. The Prussian approach was used, for example, at the Michigan Constitution of 1835, which fully embraced the Prussian system by introducing a range of primary schools, secondary schools, and the University of Michigan. All were administered by the state and supported by tax funding. 1843, Horace Mann. Now, Horace Mann, he's known as the father of the American public school system. All right, Horace Mann is known as the father. It's a lie. All right, Horace Mann is known as the father of the American public school system. All right, traveled to Germany to investigate how the educational process worked. Upon his return to the U.S., he incorporated his experiences, his advocacy for the common school movement in Massachusetts. Now, Horace Mann was a member of the Whig Party. And if you notice that bird that's in the middle, all right, Horace Mann, the father of the U.S. public school system, all right, went to Germany to learn about German indoctrination. And he was a member of the Whig Party. Well, if you look at this bird in the middle, it's the same as that Nazi bird. All right, it's the same as that Nazi bird. And there was a quote that says, "I've always said the first Whig was a devil." All right, in the ISUPK, the Commander General Johanna, we say that our oppressor, aka the so-called white man, is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, but it's that same Nazi bird. All right, the system of education that we use in the U.S. is called the Prussian model, born of Prussia's military failings in the Napoleonic Wars. The German kingdom developed an education system designed to indoctrinate children. All right, Johann Fichte, all right, significantly influenced the Prussian educational system, which became a model for compulsory education in the early 19th century. He advocated for a national system of education aimed at fostering a sense of national identity. This is where this U.S. exceptionalism is going to come from. This is where this America first, make America great again, all of this is going to come out of here. All right, John Fichte is known as the father of German nationalism. And this was the person that was the major influencer on this German education system that got brought to the U.S. by Horace Mann. All right, his work is seen as laying the theoretical foundations for German nationalism, which later played a significant role in the rise of National Socialism. Now, what is National Socialism? Nazism. Nazism. All right, so the American public school system and Nazism all come from the same political thought. All right, our American education, our American public school system has the same origin as Nazism. All right, so this is how we were unknowingly indoctrinated with Nazism in our public school system. This is where all this comes from. All right, all of this America first, make America great again, American exceptionalism, all of that comes from Nazi Germany. Now, how did it get here? Now, we talked about Horace Mann. We talked about the public school system. Now we've got Frank Windsor. All right, he was one of the founding roles. It's like you're one of the founding officers of the CIA and played a major role in operation throughout the 1950s. He began his intelligence career in World War II. And after the war, he headed the OPC, like one of the OSS successor organizations from 1940 to 1950. And in 1950, the OPC was placed under the CIA. Now, what did he do? All right. He led an operation that allowed Nazi war criminals to come to the U.S. All right. As head of the OPC, he secretly brought into the United States scores of Nazi collaborators with some of the most vicious war criminals ever to serve Adolf Hitler. So we have Nazi indoctrination being the origin of our public school system. And after World War II, we have the CIA sneaking in Nazi war criminals. All right, he's responsible for some of the most reprehensible actions by the CIA. And he made it possible for Belarusians that collaborated with Nazis to gain citizenship after World War II. Now, one person that was recruited by the CIA was Werner von Braun as a part of Operation Paperclip, which brought Nazis and their families to the U.S. But your boy worked with him. All right, your boy worked with him. All right, this is Bobby Seale. This is Bobby Seale, one of the founders of the Black Panther Party. And prior to founding the Black Panthers, he was an engineer and design major at Merritt College and an engineer for NASA, working with Werner von Braun on the Gemini program. All right, so we have Nazi indoctrination, Nazi style, Nazi type indoctrination being brought to our public schools. We have the CIA sneaking in Nazi war criminals. One of those Nazis was Werner von Braun, brought in through Operation Paperclip, and your boy Bobby Seale, founder of the Black Panther Party, was working right alongside him on the Gemini program. All right, this is where a lot of your atheist thought are going to come into so-called Black revolutionary movements. This is where a lot of your socialists and your communist thought is going to come into your Black revolutionary movements. All right, it says the Black Panther Menace, America's neo-Nazis. All right, the Black Panther Menace, America's neo-Nazis. And now we got this guy. All right, self-appointed head of this new Black Panther Party. And look what it says about him. All right, I'm not sure if you can say this on video or whatever. I don't want to get the page flagged, but you can see what it says. You can see what it says. A lot of this atheist thought, a lot of this eugenics thought, a lot of this communist socialism thought, a lot of sexual deviance is going to come into our communities through a Nazi-style indoctrination in the public school system that's getting you ready to accept individuals like this. We just read about how Bobby Seale worked for NASA, and how he was working right alongside a Nazi war criminal. And you wonder how a lot of this ideology got into the Black Panther Party? And how it got into a lot of our ideologies today? All right, we've been unknowingly indoctrinated with Nazi propaganda. All right, this clenched fist that we saw the Black Panther Party use back in the 60s, late 60s. All right, it's nothing but the fist, it's nothing but the symbol of socialism and anarchy. All right, you see Black Lives Matter using it. You see the women's liberation movement using it. But this has nothing to do with Black and indigenous people. All right, this clenched fist has nothing to do with Black and indigenous people. All right, this is white folks' business. All right, this is white folks' business. You see it? This has nothing to do with Black and indigenous people. All right, this is nothing but an agenda and a propaganda being used to direct our attention away from morality. And we finna get into that too. You see the fist again? With Gloria Steinem and Dorothy Pittman. All right, these were the people that brought feminism into our communities. These were the two women that were recruited to bring feminism into our communities. All right, this is what taught our women that they don't need a man. All right, this is what taught our women that she could do bad by herself. This is what told our women to put off a man until you got your education and your career in order. And that's why you see a lot of 40-year-old Black women that ain't got no damn man. All right, this is where this comes from. But what they don't tell you is that feminism comes out of CIA propaganda. What they don't tell you is that Gloria Steinem was an agent of the CIA. And the first thing she did was recruit a Black woman named Dorothy Pittman to convince Black women that they don't need a man. All right, this is where this comes from. If you were raised by a single mother, this is where this comes from. This is the origin of the single mother epidemic. This right here is the origin of that single mother epidemic. And you see they both got the clenched fist. All right. Now, another part of Nazi ideology is the eugenics movement. And the eugenics movement is what became Planned Parenthood. So if you are pro-choice, if you are pro-abortion for any reason, then you promote Nazi ideology. All right, the role of Darwinism in Nazi racial thought. Historians recognize that Hitler was a social Darwinist, and some portray social Darwinism as a central element of Nazi ideology. Now, Charles Darwin, you see he's got the Masonic hand sign. All right, in The Descent of Man, he said at some future point, not very distant as measured by centuries, the civilized races of man will almost certainly exterminate and replace throughout the world the savage races. All right, source: how Darwinism influenced Hitler, Nazism, and white nationalism. Look into the world at no very distant date, but an endless number of the lower races will have been eliminated by the highest civilized races throughout the world. All right, this is what was called social Darwinism. and social Darwinism became the core of Nazi ideology. But we got somebody else pushing the very same propaganda. Here's a quote from Marcus Garvey to a Klansman named Ernest Severe Cox. All right, he's quoting Charles Darwin. It says, "The fact is that the modern Negro is a lazy, good-for-nothing slumberer. This is my conviction arrived at by close and careful study and experience, and if something is not done for him, he will die as other unfit races have." Marcus Garvey is quoting a white supremacist, Charles Darwin, to another white supremacist, a man named Ernest Severe Cox. All right, Marcus Garvey said the modern Negro is a lazy, good-for-nothing slumberer, and if something is not done for him, he will die as other unfit races have. This is no different than what Charles Darwin was saying. And if social Darwinism is the core of Nazi ideology, then Marcus Garvey is a black Nazi. If he's quoting Charles Darwin and social Darwinism is the core of Nazi ideology, then Marcus Garvey is a black Nazi. So we got you. We got Marcus Garvey. All right, now, Darwin had a first cousin named Francis Galton. Now, Francis Galton would continue what was called social Darwinism, and that would turn into the eugenics movement. All right, eugenics applied emergent theories of biology and genetics to human breeding. White elites with strong biases about who was fit and unfit embrace eugenics. We just read where Marcus Garvey said, if something isn't done for black people, that we would die as other unfit races have. All right, Marcus Garvey was talking eugenics talking points. Marcus Garvey was talking social Darwinism and eugenics talking points. All right, believing American society would be improved by increased breeding of Anglo-Saxons and Nordics, whom they assumed had high IQs. Anyone who did not fit this mold of racial perfection, including black and indigenous people, became the targets for eugenics programs. Now, what is eugenics? Eugenics became Planned Parenthood. And this is perhaps one of the most wicked white people to exist in the last 200 years. This is probably one of the most wicked white people that ever existed in the last 200 years. All right, she took the eugenics movement and took it a step further. Now, the birth control movement became population control movement. The birth control movement and the population control movement became inseparable in people's minds during the early years, led by Margaret Sanger in 1915. Population control referred to large-scale social policy of limiting births throughout a whole society on certain groups for the purpose of economic, ecological, and political conditions. All right, population control ideas were dominated by eugenics and marred by racism in the U.S. So again, she took eugenics ideology and eugenics talking points, which again is Nazi propaganda, and she started Planned Parenthood. Now, in 1939, she started what was called the Negro Project, with the aim of expanding birth control into the black community. This wicked-ass white woman in 1939 started the Negro Project with the aim of expanding birth control in the black community. How was it done? She had help. She had help by this bastard, W.E.B. Du Bois. You might have heard of him. You might have heard of him, but he gets no pass with me. All right, he worked for Margaret Sanger's Negro Project. All right, in 1939, Du Bois served as advisory counsel for Sanger's Negro Project, which was designed to serve Black Southerners. So, W.E.B. Du Bois, when he worked for Margaret Sanger, his job was to push abortions on Black Southerners. All right, W.E.B. Du Bois' job was to push Planned Parenthood, push abortions on Black Southerners. Why? For population control. For population control. So again, if you support abortions for any reason, any and all reasons, if you're pro-choice, then you support Nazi propaganda. You support Nazi propaganda. All right, 2010 census results reveal that Planned Parenthood is targeting minority neighborhoods, with 79% of its surgical abortion facilities located within walking distance of Black and Hispanic neighborhoods. Planned Parenthood is targeting minority neighborhoods. 79% of these abortion facilities are in walking distance of Black and Hispanic neighborhoods. Why? Because in 1939, W.E.B. Du Bois worked for Margaret Sanger, and his job was to push abortions on Black Southerners. Why the South? Because that's where the majority of America's Black population is, in the southern states. Again, if you support abortions for any reason, if you're pro-choice, then you support Nazi agenda. All right, you support Nazi agendas, and you are a Black Nazi. So this right here is a Black Nazi. And you are supporting Nazi propaganda, Nazi ideology, the eugenics movement, which was designed to kill you. How do you support something that was originally designed to kill you? Again, this is Nazi programming. This is Nazi programming. Now, another part of Nazism is atheism. All right, another part of Nazi ideology is atheism. So you have a book written by Casey Graves called The World's 16 Crucified Saviors. All right. It was like in the 1890s or something like that. This is where all of your modern beliefs about how Christ didn't exist, or Christ was a mythological character. All right. All of this comes from a white man named Casey Graves. All right. The Christ myth theory was popular in Germany. Again, we're talking about Nazi ideology. We're talking about us unknowingly embracing Nazi ideology. All right. The Christ myth theory, popular in Germany. It was motivated in part by anti-Semitism, the idea to explain away Judaism's role in establishing Christianity. All right, the Christ myth theory is going to come out of Germany, the same place that Nazi ideology is going to come out of. How do we get it? We got it in Pan-Africanism too. All right, here's your Dr. Ben. All right, this is the Pan-African. This is the Pan-African. And he said the story of Jesus originated from the story of Isis in ancient Egypt. All right. All of this, Christ wasn't a historical character. Christ was mythological. All right. Atheism. All of this is going to be part of our Nazi ideology. So if you believe that Christ was mythological, you're a black Nazi. If you're an atheist and you believe that Africa is the cradle of human civilization, all right, you're a Nazi. All right, you're a Nazi. All right, Dr. Ben said the story of Jesus originated from the story of Isis in ancient Egypt. All right, let's drop that for a second. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 14, verse 1. All right, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. All right. So you have nowadays a lot of black folks running around talking about real black atheists. All right, atheism, science, out of Africa theories. All right, but the Bible said the fool saith in his heart there is no God. So you could follow Nazi propaganda, but me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. I'm just going to tell you what the Bible says. If you got a problem, take it up with the Lord. All right, let's drop that. All right, we got L. Ron Hubbard. All right, L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. All right, this is going to be more Nazi propaganda. All right, this is the father of the current Scientology leader. This is the father of the current Scientology leader. Now, why is this important? The Nation of Islam has fully embraced Scientology. The Nation of Islam has fully embraced Scientology. And the father of the current leader of the Church of Scientology was a Nazi. So if you're in the Nation of Islam and you support Dianetics, you support L. Ron Hubbard, all right, you're into Scientology, then whether you know it or not, you have embraced Nazism. All right, this is a group of black Nazis. Now, they're probably unknown participants in black Nazism, but they're black Nazis nonetheless. Now, there was a book about L. Ron Hubbard called A Piece of the Blue Sky. And this is what L. Ron Hubbard is quoted as saying. Again, you have black members of the Nation of Islam that support Scientology, that support Dianetics, that support L. Ron Hubbard. But L. Ron Hubbard was a white supremacist. So just like with eugenics and Planned Parenthood, you're supporting something that was designed to be an enemy against you. And this is what black Nazism is. All right, when you get down to the bottom of it, black Nazism is designed to get you to go against your own self-interest. Why? Because if you go against your own self-interest, if we go against our own best self-interest, then when other races do it, all they can say was, well, see, they do it to themselves. See, black Nazism, or working against your own best self-interest is how these other races of people get to wash their hands of the crimes they've committed against us. Again, if we're working against our own self-interest, when other races do it, they can say, well, hey, like I said, they do it to themselves. All right, this is what black Nazism is all about. This is what black Nazism is all about. All right, American black Muslims, neo-Nazis, and foreign Muslim extremists join forces. All right, this is black Nazism. Just like black people that support abortion, black people that support the Black Panther Party, black people that support the Nation of Islam. All right, this is black Nazism. All right, 1962, Elijah Muhammad invited Nazi Party chief George Lincoln Rockwell to address the Nation of Islam convention in Chicago, even though Rockwell had often called blacks the lowest scum of humanity. 1962, Elijah Muhammad invited American Nazi Party chief George Lincoln Rockwell to address the Nation of Islam convention in Chicago, even though Rockwell had called blacks the lowest scum of humanity. Again, working against your own best interests is black Nazism. And George Rockwell called Elijah Muhammad the Black Hitler. George Rockwell called Elijah Muhammad the Black Hitler. All right. Policing. Policing is another part of Nazism. All right. Combining the SS and the police into one institution was an important step in the Nazi regime's transformation into a powerful dictatorship. The SS and police system had the ideological radicalism of the SS and the executive authority of the police. All right, U.S. Capitol riot. Police have a long history of aiding neo-Nazis and extremists. And these are black faces under these masks, too. All right, police have a long history of aiding neo-Nazis and extremists. You remember the police that killed Tyree Nichols? Here they go. This is important because if y'all remember the movie Boys in the Hood, or if y'all remember, if you grew up in the era that we did, a lot of times them black cops were worse. And don't let that black cop have a white partner. All right. These are 5 black Nazis. If you remember the black cop from Boys in the Hood, that's a black Nazi. Here's another part. I know you probably ain't finna like this one. All right. But this whole thing we're seeing nowadays, this push for interracial relationships, especially dealing with black women and white men. Now I know Kamala Harris isn't black. She doesn't come from the same lineage that we come from, but just to prove a point, I'll show it to you with Ketanji Brown too. All right, I'll show it to you with Ketanji Brown too. You're seeing a push for white male, black female relationships. All right, I've been seeing this all over the place in recent years. Now you might say, well, if Nazis were white supremacists, why would they do this? If Nazis were white supremacists, why would they do this? All right, first we'll go into the Bible. Deuteronomy 7:3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou not take unto thy son. See, the Bible is completely against interracial relationships. All right. Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians. All right. We should be sticking to ourselves when it comes to dating, relationships, and marriages. All right. Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians, we should be sticking to ourselves when dealing with dating, relationships, and marriages. Now, again, you might say, if Nazis are white supremacists, why would they support and promote white male, black female relationships? Here's why. In 2045, In 2045, white folks are going to be the minority. In 2045, white folks are going to be the minority. They're already the minority in 5 U.S. states right now. White folks are already the minority in 5 U.S. states right now. But by 2045, white folks are going to be the minority across all the United States. Because they're not having babies like they could. All right. White folks are not having babies, especially not at the rate that we are. Why do you think Planned Parenthood was invented? Why do you think Planned Parenthood abortion facilities were invented? They were invented to target us. They were invented to reduce our birth rates. But now the Lord is messing with their birth rates. They can't have babies to the point to where they can keep up with us. They cannot have babies to the point where they can keep up with us. So in 2045, white folks are going to be the minority because they can't have babies. They can't procreate at the rate that we can. Now, why is this white male, black female relationship important? Why is this relationship important? You go to the Bible, Numbers 1 and 18, it says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. All right, it's the father that determines what that child will be. All right, so if you have a white father and a black mother, that's a white child. If you have a white father and a black mother, then that is a white child. That's why they're pushing white male and black female relationships. We already know what happens when you push black male and white female relationships. They're going to come and lynch you. All right, American history is full of that. American history is full of lynchings because of black male, white female relationships. But for some reason, white male and black female relationships are being pushed. You don't believe me? There was a movie called Neo-Ned with Gabrielle Union. And Gabrielle Union, she played a mental patient who believed that she was the reincarnation of Adolf Hitler. All right, Neo-Ned, Gabrielle Union played a mental patient who believed that she was the reincarnation of Adolf Hitler. And she was the love interest of a neo-Nazi skinhead. She was the love interest of a neo-Nazi skinhead. You still don't believe me that this is Nazi propaganda? It's right in your face. The promotion of white male, the promotion of white male and black female relationships is a part of Nazi propaganda. And since we're talking about Gabrielle Union, we have to talk about sexual deviancy. Since we're talking about Gabrielle Union, we have to talk about sexual deviancy. All right, here goes Afeni Shakur. Since we're talking about, since we're getting back into the Black Panthers again. All right, here's Afeni Shakur. Back when she was a stud. Here's Angela Davis. That came out some years back as a lesbian. All right, drop that. We'll go to Romans 1:26. Go back to the Bible, Romans 1:26. For this cause, God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. For this cause, God gave them up to vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Now, everybody today wants to say love is love. But the Bible says this is a vile affection. This is a vile affection. But you'll see this promoted in the media every day. The Bible says this is a vile affection. This is an abomination unto God. But you'll see this on any black TV show you turn on right now. See, this is what the media wants to push on us. This is black Nazism. This is black Nazism. But the Bible calls it a vile affection. This is an abomination. All right, Black Lives Matter. All right, it says we practice empathy. We engage comrades. There's more of your communist socialist talk. With the intent to learn and connect with their context. It says we disrupt the prescribed nuclear family structure. All right, Black Lives Matter wants to destroy the nuclear family structure. All right? By supporting each other as extended families that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Where's the father? They want to make sure that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Where's the father? All right. If you're against the nuclear family, you're a black Nazi. All right. This is Nazism. It says we foster a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking. All right, this is black Nazism. It says we affirm the lives of black, queer, and trans, disabled, and undocumented. All black lives along the gender spectrum are network centers, those who have been marginalized within black liberation movements. This is black Nazism. This is black Nazism. When you push the father out of the way, like the feminist movement tried to do, all right, this is Nazi agenda. This is Nazi propaganda. All right. Now to end it, I know this has been big in the news lately, but just like the CIA was smuggling Nazis into the U.S. after World War II, just like the CIA funded the civil rights movement, just like the CIA pushed for feminism, all right, pushed to get the man out of the way, just like the CIA pushed for the destruction of the nuclear family in our communities. Did you hear that Jeffrey Epstein had a relationship with the CIA? All right, Epstein almost certainly had close ties to U.S. intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies. Also read he had a relationship with the KGB too. So this situation with Epstein is not as local as you might think. It's not as local as you've been led to believe. It's a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger than what you've been led to believe. All right, Epstein has a relationship with U.S. intelligence and Israeli's intelligence agencies. All right, we've got Bill Gates with Epstein, and that's what they're saying that he is on the right. Now, I'm not sure people are saying it's Photoshop. Some people are saying it's real. Look, I'm not saying it is or it isn't. But if that is a real picture of Bill, that doesn't surprise me. If this is really a real image of Bill Gates as a child, that doesn't surprise me at all. Because the people that we look up to are not who we think they are. The people that we look up to are not who we think they are. We got Chris Tucker hugged up. This was the woman. This was the woman that just got convicted and just got sentenced to like 40 years for her participation with Jeffrey Epstein. I think her name is Ghislaine. This was the woman that just got sentenced to like 40 years for her participation in grooming minors for Jeff Epstein. She was convicted and sentenced for like 40 some years. She finna die in prison. She finna spend the rest of her life in prison for grooming minors for Jeffrey Epstein. And Chris Rock is hugged up taking pictures with him. What's that about? Like I said, the people that you look up to are not who you think they are. We got Jay-Z over here hugged up with Harvey Weinstein. All right, another offender. All right, all these people are mentioned in these Epstein files. All of them. Again, the people that we look up to are not who you think they are. And it gets bigger. It gets bigger than what's been mentioned. Or it's bigger than just what people have been talking about. All right, this is a much larger situation than we're being told in the news right now. It's not a local crime. Again, we just read about Epstein's relationship with both American and Israeli intelligence. So this isn't just an American situation. I even read that Epstein had connections to Russian KGB. All right, this is much larger than just an American situation. This is much larger than just the sex trafficking we've been told about. This is much larger than just the situation with minors that we're being told about. All right, cannibal appears 52 times in the Epstein files. And cannibalism is mentioned 6 times. Now, am I saying that Jay-Z and Chris Tucker is guilty of this? I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying Jay-Z or Chris Tucker is or isn't. But I do know that all this comes out of Nazism. I do know it's a part of Nazism. Am I saying Jay-Z and Chris Tucker were involved in this? I'm not saying that. I'm saying it is in the files. Cannibalism is mentioned in the Epstein files. I know it's a part of Nazism. And I know the Bible said we'd eat our own children. Leviticus 26 and 29. And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat. All right, Leviticus 26 and 29. And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat. So with that, we'll go ahead and end it. Oh, wait a minute. We got a little bit more. My bad. I forgot I put this on at the end. This was something I found interesting. All right. Since we started off with the public school system, since we started off with the indoctrination, a German style indoctrination in the public school system, we're in the class with something else that goes on in the public school system. All right, Life Touch, one of the largest providers of school photography services in the U.S., has come into focus since the newly released Epstein files was made public by the U.S. Department of Justice. So Life Touch, one of the largest providers of school photography. Picture day. Picture day. You get your kids dressed up for picture day. All right. Life Touch, one of the largest providers of school photography services in the U.S., has come into focus since the newly released Epstein files was made public by the U.S. Department of Justice. Life Touch operates in tens of thousands of schools each year, photographing millions of children and storing those images digitally. The company is owned by Shutterfly, which was acquired by Apollo Global Management. And Apollo was co-founded by Leon Black, a billionaire financier who stepped down as chief executive in 2021 following scrutiny over his ties with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I've been saying this for years now. It might be time to take your kids out of public school. I've been saying this for about 4 years now. You might want to take your kids out of public school. All right, so with that, that was Black Nazism Part 2. All right, if you haven't seen Part 1, all right, go back about a year, ISUPK, Kentucky, check out Black Nazism Part 1. With that, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me, soaking up some of this game. All right, every Monday, Lord willing, Monday history class, ISUPK, Kentucky. All right, Tuesday night brotherhood class, Wednesday night the podcast, Saturday morning Sabbath service. And if you ain't got my book, Hidden American Indian Contributions to Civilization, go ahead and get your copy. All right, everybody that's got their copy already, I appreciate y'all. All right, I appreciate y'all for supporting your brother. If you ain't got your copy, you can inbox me on Facebook Messenger. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and end it. One courtesy salute, shalom, Yahweh B'Shem, Yahweh Shabbarakathon, Yahweh Shemalathon B'Shem Yahweh Shah. And with that, class is dismissed.
Bitches gotta say, I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love about what them niggas gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sisters, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad of this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, go through the baddest conditions. I don't fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Batman, nigga. She know I'm a prophet, she glad to be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit. Tell her go make some business from scratch. She bitchin' the different breed of black men. We don't do the bad thing. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like, don't forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we soldier. You can take that to the bank, we focus. How many times must we remind you? One body, one way, some break off and never take off as a place. When the law with with you, ain't no up next. It's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. The Lord called a nigga out the world. I responded and called back. Oh Lord. And everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit. We want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come under command and general, your hunter, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. That's why we unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better have the women, have the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't butt the system. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in here with me. We in the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Black and Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be fresh as hell, take a picture. And we professional with the scriptures. Play, we gon' scratch them, yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't think they pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The only slide that I know about is when I assemble the Glock with the slide on. Real, I get the order, you know that this slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet up by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got 9s, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like, bitch, or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like. My nigga like them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come under command and general, your hunter, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all don't fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. You understand me? Like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey, 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 that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah.